What up, guys? So today we are jumping into Absolute and we are using Vanguard, and I really enjoy Vanguard. Right now Vanguard is in a really good spot. They have some interesting grapple maneuvers right now. They buffed some of the grapple perks, and I find grapple just much more fun to use now. Collateral damage is also going to help us with the grapple damage. Zone of Impact. Zone of Impact is very powerful. And then, of course, I'm using Grim Determination's pretty good, but Tactical Prowess. Tactical Prowess was buffed from 25% to 33%. And what I mean by that is when the enemy is at 33% health, you can get an auto execute on them, which is really useful. That is what it looks like. And also Zone of Impact, that little like gold effect. What it does is it practically does a large amount of area of effect damage to enemies that are basically in the area there. Now you will see it here, and it just put those disc shamans into execute. And then you can also get your cooldown back when you are landing these grapples. So essentially you can stack these on top of each other. And not only that, of course I do have just a little extra damage for my kick as well. So, you know, I will miss some grapples, because the grapple, even though the grapple's fun, it definitely has its weakness. And the weakness is targeting an enemy that you want to target in a crowd. That's basically the struggle I had with the kick here. And it's still very powerful. As long as you're able to land the kick and get an execute, and you can get, you know, the area of effect damage going, you can start off a fight with a really strong, attack. And not only that, you cut down their numbers, because the area of effect, I feel like, I bet you it stacks with the difficulty. So in Absolute, it is going to do a lot of damage to the enemies that are surrounding the enemy you are executing. And we are using Oculus, and of course we're using the Neo-Volkite pistol. The Neo-Volkite pistol is extremely reliable at getting chaos down to that 33% health range. The changes to grapple, I think, were really, really good. Honestly, I didn't really like grapple that much before patch 6. But now with like basically the way grapple has these extra abilities, and I mean, it's pretty strong utility to be able to get your cooldown back when you get an enemy down to 33%. Just use the grapple on them, get your cooldown back, and yeah, you can basically just continue to stack that as long as you're able to get enemies within that 33% spot. Now, this fight, I know I'm talking a lot about the build, but this fight, yeah, it's it's a pretty sweaty fight here. The health group definitely put up a good battle. Luckily, I did have enough ammo to keep my contested health filled. My contested health was definitely getting, it was definitely getting some work in, essentially. Like, I was getting knocked around by that Hellbrute a little bit, so yeah, I definitely relied on getting my contested health back in order to survive that fight. The Neo-Volkite pistol isn't great at that, but the Oculus is. Boom! There's the effect. The effect is kind of hard to see, but it definitely got that the major over there into executionable, and you can use the grapple on that major as well. That is the way it goes when it goes like perfectly, right? But sometimes it doesn't go perfectly, where the enemies, like right here, we just have this Terminator just kind of spawn camping us at that door. That Terminator was definitely a bad situation. I was trying to point over this tactical. I was trying to point him to, the altar there to put the chalice down. This tactical, I don't know if you've seen at our team perk page there. This tactical is level 10. And I didn't even realize that until I started editing this video. Which honestly makes a lot of sense. I'm definitely curious of what this tactical was using. I'm gonna try to pay attention to his damage a little bit more now. But yeah, this tactical's level 10, and this is Absolute. normally when I see lower level players in, something like Absolute or Lethal, I do like kind of say, hey, we should probably kick this guy. But you know what? Fine. We will get this tactical to the end of this operation. Oh yeah, there I was showing off the door because we basically ditched we basically ditched extremists there. We definitely were able to avoid them. But yeah, this is a tough fight. Pretty much this entire tomb part was rough. This totally makes sense now. Oh, there I was doing the grapple just to try to avoid getting swarmed. And the grapple, I do have some extra damage on it, so it kind of helps out. It kind of helps out the grapple overall. So even if I don't have an execution ready for the grapple, I still have a use for it, But that said, yeah, I definitely could have found a way to land a grapple and get, the zone of impact, basically get the impact damage to help take out a lot of these, like, honestly, we're getting kind of swarmed here. I need to take out a lot of these minor enemies, and it's definitely, it's definitely starting to take its toll as far as chip damage. And the disc shamans are definitely kind of tough to deal with. There it is, boom. I hit the zone of impact there, and it pretty much did what it needs to do. It cleared out a lot of enemies right there. That was, dude, the disc shamans get shredded by the Oculus. That's one of my favorite ways to tackle disc shamans, is to use the Oculus. And also, we have Bonds of Brotherhood. So I just wanted to point this out because this entire operation gets way more sweaty. We have Bonds of Brotherhood and Unmatched Zeal, and this is 6.2. And I did try this build out before 6.2, and 6.2 did buff the ability to get those early executes. It buffed it from 25% to 33%. We know this. The thing is, I feel like that buff seriously did a lot for that perk. At 25%, I feel like it was kind of close to getting them to executionable status. 33% doesn't. 33% legit feels like an early execute. 25% was early enough for sure, but 33% hit, you can get there pretty easily. Now, right there, that's one of the weaknesses of grapple. Sometimes the grapple just does not want to go to the enemy. You want to hit with it. Practically, it happens a lot more often when. Yeah. So here's the situation. Now, see, I know one of these enemies are able to get the early execution, so I can trigger Zone of Impact. But the thing is, the issue there was I just couldn't tell. They were all right next to each other, and I was like, okay, I just have to throw it in there, and hopefully we can take out these majors. But here we have extremist spawns, and I was trying to point the tactical over to the altar, but he picked this one. I guess this one's fine too. I really wanted to try to use the advantage of the height a little bit there, the high ground. One of the sorcerers could have came up at us, and then we could have took out the sorcerer. The Terminator should have been stuck down here. But regardless, look, now we're in a really, really bad spot. I have a Guardian Relic, which is okay. I'm trying my best to just take out any enemies I can. And yes, the heavy steals my execution there, kind of. And I have to use the Guardian Relic. And basically now what I need to do is res my teammates. And what was rough about this was the Terminator, obviously. But we have Bonds of Brotherhood. And we have Unmatched Zeal. So we have plenty of healing to get us out of a situation that's a little bit crazy, like this one. But I gotta say, dude, Unmatched Zeal, with the recent buff, is so powerful now. You can see how much health we get from taking out extremists this entire time. There, I pick up one of my teammates. And I try my best to stay alive there, but that chaos Rubric Marine literally just teleported away, dude. It was so rough. And then I'm also getting pelted by the Terminator missiles over there. But yes, look, Bonds of Brotherhood and Unmatched Zeal. So we're able to actually jump back into this fight full health, which is kind of cool. And I do land a nice execution there, which is, it just helps me get my, it just helps me get my grapple back, so I can try to take out these extremists with it. And I go for the grapple there. I don't quite get it. And look at this! Look at these missiles being spammed directly at my face. I thought I legit thought they'd patch that. But luckily they buffed Unmatched Zeal, so it's not an issue. Did you see how much health I gained from that? Like, holy cow, I was able to get some contested health back, but then also I had the Unmatched Zeal perk, like, kind of stacked with it, I guess. So I practically got my full health back from, like, getting one-shot. It was, oh man, Unmatched Zeal so good. Unmatched Zeal so good, and it was very nice to have because it was insanely clutch in the moment there. Because now me and the Heavy now are taking on 2 Terminators, and I thought this was kind of a nice spot to be in because the more extremists we take out, the more health we are getting. So see, now I'm at full health, and now the Heavy is close to half. But here I do take the stim because I don't want to die. I know. Maybe I should have saved it for the Heavy. The tactical's level 10. I don't know what you want me to say about the tactical. But the Heavy definitely has mortal wound as well. But I figured, hey, you know what? If I had this stim pack, it can definitely heal my mortal wound for the Heavy. It just gets them to a little bit more health. I don't think it heals their mortal wound, but for me it does. So that that kind of helps. But honestly, I still have the Oculus here. The Oculus is great in this moment. And not to mention, I kind of panicked when I walked up and didn't see the crack grenade. I saw the Melta. Now the Melta will get rid of the Sorcerer at the end of this fight. This is the like weirdest boss situation where you get what you need to take the Sorcerer out right next to the Sorcerer. Like, all you need is this Melta and you can take out the Sorcerer. But yeah, you also have to shoot the orbs. Normally when I'm here and I'm enjoying shooting the orbs, I'm playing the sniper. But the Oculus is just a really, really good weapon, and I just really enjoy using the Oculus whenever I can. And yeah, its ability to take out the orbs is really good. Oh yeah, there's a perfect grapple, and then you can even just stack it with another execution. It's pretty nice to have with Inner Fire as well, but I figured you get your grapple back when you land it successfully anyway, so you don't really need Inner Fire. Unmatched Zeal, along with Bonds of Brotherhood, also got us through this entire operation, at least the rough spots. This tactical's very lucky, man. This tactical's very lucky. Oh yeah, I just popped the stim just in case. Drop the Melta. Sorcerer is gone. Completed operation. Man, that tactical probably leveled up quite a bit after this. I almost wanted to fight more because I started to get a hang of the build. But yeah, I did use this build before some of the recent Vanguard buffs, and it felt pretty good. But now it feels very strong. So you can definitely use it better than I used it in this operation as well. But I had some really good moments with it. I did break 10,000 damage, and I also had 4,000 melee damage, so definitely had a fair amount of damage. Oh wow, that tactical was definitely not doing a lot of damage. Okay, yeah, so that kind of makes sense why I was a little rough at spots. But hey, Bonds of Brotherhood and Unmatched Zeal.